Hello and welcome to the 92nd episode of the HaloEra podcast. Everything should be working fine, audio and all that fun stuff. Joining me today is it seems to be a podcast regular now at this point, my brother, NuclearBlaze. How's it going, man?
Doing pretty good.
Also joining us today is the Master Chief himself. Impossible.
Psych, it's me.
Oh my god. that looked just like an Unreal Engine 5 Master Chief would.
Uncanny.
But okay, hello everyone. Please let me know if there's any issues with audio, if anyone's too quiet, too loud. I think we should be good because they should be like the same settings for the most part we had last time. If you have any static, I can maybe I think we do have a little bit, but you know, I might be able to do like a gate for that later. There's a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're gonna start off with HCS Worlds because my brother might need to go soonish. He has some stuff he needs to do, or he might stay with us for the whole thing. Let's see. And then of course we'll dive into some major friggin' news: the rebranding of 343. Wow, the confirmation of Halo going to Unreal, and then big news that got dug underneath that is third person coming to Halo Infinite. Like,
yeah,
yeah, right.
Yeah, I was there when they revealed it, and everyone was like, the crowd got really hyped. It was in the community stage. I was like, "What's happening?" I looked at her back, and I saw third person. Like, I was like, "Okay, that's
sick." Oh, I wish I was there for that one. But there's a new operation, Haloween. Friggin', man, is there a YouTube video for the third person? Just like
yeah.
On
You should be able
on
to find
Halo's
it.
channel. I feel like it was a Twitter, so then people just kind of like.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure there should be though. What was the operation before this one again? Before Halloween?
Champions, which is currently still our background because it looks sick. It's honestly a really cool background. I'm not gonna lie. Like they're our team 8 with this one.
Yeah, I should have done all the little things to get the
Dude, I look
poster.
at my operation list and I get like ashamed because it's like each of them are like 10, 12, 13.
No, I mean
levels.
like at the event, like I didn't even do the poster stuff.
Yeah.
That's real bad.
But okay, let's dive in with HCS Worlds first, let's say. So me and my brother, Areeb, went over to Seattle this weekend to attend Halo Infinite
Your
Worlds.
voice cut out.
Sorry,
Yep.
am I good?
Yep.
Yeah. To attend Halo Infinite Worlds. And what's nice is that Areeb in the previous event at SLC, he actually made the finals in FFA, which I think we talked about, and got qualified to go to Worlds. So we had a hotel like 50 meters from the convention
Yeah, that was pretty
center.
nice.
Like it was
The last
really
2
freaking
years. The last 2 years we've had to taken the light rail to
Yeah.
or driven to it or whatever, and it's like 45 minutes minimum.
I'm not,
So now
I really
go
like the light rail, I'm
for
not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah, light
it's
rail's nice. Yeah.
fantastic. I got to the airport, took the light rail straight to the hotel essentially. But anyways, he stayed there. He got seated straight into the semis. Also at Worlds was a friend of ours, a close friend of Areeb's. His team was performing and they killed it for the most part. They didn't take the whole
We can
thing.
talk
Which they
about
really
it from
put
Friday onwards if you want.
Say it again.
We can talk about it from starting from Friday.
Yeah, all right, great. Let's go to the days. So Friday.
We reached Thursday, but it was late as hell, so we just
Yeah.
stopped. Pretty much.
I think probably the coolest thing for me Friday was on the community stage. They had a guy in the intermission. They had Frank Tedesco, playing piano and like Halo tracks. And then on Friday he had like these 45 minutes where he's like, just give me a song, request a song, and I'll play it. And a lot of the songs requested, like I raised my hand, I requested What Makes Us Human from Halo Infinite. He'd never heard it before. So he just live listens to it and then learns, like right then and there, and starts playing on the piano.
Jeez.
It was super
Bro, it's so
cool.
insane because he has the whatever the thing where like he has like voices in the keyboard. What's that called?
Yeah. It's electronic keyboard, right? So it's full of like random
Choir noises, stuff like that.
Yeah. Like he could literally do like the Halo stuff. He could switch it to guitar. He could do whatever the flip he wanted. It was really cool.
Like
Which is
a
interesting. Yeah, sorry.
electric keyboard.
Yes.
Yeah.
electric keyboard. Though what's also interesting is someone when I asked my question, I was also checking chat to see what they thought of the music. And someone straight up said SoulBlazerz. I was like, the flip? How the hell? Like, and I checked the stream and you can't really see me even though I'm sitting at the front when it switches to his angle. So it might have been just voice. So if you're listening, right now. Whoever said my name, I think it was like Dead Not or something like that. Wow, man. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for being there.
Yeah.
Which isn't even the craziest story of the night in terms of that. What else happened on Friday, Areeb?
Yeah, we there's like some random like side tournaments. I played the Halo 2 one with some friends, and we played against my friend in the first round, and he won the whole thing, and it's single elimination, so that sucked.
Halo 2, right?
Halo 2, yeah.
Oh my
Right
god.
when I saw him, I was like, "No, this is too funny. Like this is GG's already."
Halo 2 friggin' I'm watching a replay a little bit because I'm curious, man. I see how it is. And man, it's like there's no hit registration. You have no idea if you're shooting the guy or not. Your screen flashes super bright red constantly. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know how people
If there wasn't a flashing red on your flipping screen, like it wouldn't be that bad. Like I pipped the guy really badly, and I was like, I don't even know I killed him. Like I'm just shooting.
I think I saw that pip. It was across the map, right?
I did that a couple times too.
Okay, all
But
right.
this one was like a close range one. But like, and what else is it? You spawn, you get into nades, you spawn getting shot, like you spawn inside, you're just dead. Like,
It's just whenever I
forgot
see
how
people playing
cancer
older
it is.
Halos, I just wonder like how the hell is anyone who played these older games complaining about modern Halo in terms of like spawns and like unfair things.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Gosh, those old games were pretty bad for some of those spawns.
I think we were more snowbally than like Infinite or whatever. Like you start rolling, you roll, man. They're spawn trapped and
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, once you kind of figure out the spawns, yeah, it's easy to just
Areeb, you think
already
Pure's
aim where they're gonna spawn.
intro video is on YouTube?
What? Sorry.
You think Pure's intro video is on YouTube?
You'd have to like skip to when they play or whatever. Yeah, there were a lot of poop play games on Friday too. The only upsets were Quadrant beat Sentinels. I think that was 3-1.
Yeah.
Drift's team tapping buttons. Those guys.
Uh,
Sorry, not tapping buttons. Drift and those guys beat. Who they beat, man? They took Shopify. They took Phase 2 Game 5. And they lost. They lost to them in the morning. And then they beat another good team. Was it Complexity? Okay, I know
I'm
they
not sure.
I know they 3-0 TLF, and then they beat Complexity. Yep. Yeah. They beat Complexity. Like reverse sweep, I think it was. Or maybe
Really?
not. I'll have to check.
Oh hey,
But
there's
that was
Uber.
insane. That was insane because like I knew they were a good team, but a lot of people like didn't really know. 'Cause
Yeah.
they had to come
100%.
through the open bracket and everything.
Sorry, I was
SLP.
just finding a video. Yeah, so Saturday was the FFA, right? Which is what Areeb was there for. I'll let you talk.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that concluded Friday pretty much. It was just some poop play games. Pure, like my friend's team, they drugged those guys. They did okay in poop play. They honestly they lost against SSG.
Yeah.
First they lost against ITB.
Yes, which is the last
Game
session that
5.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah, they shouldn't have lost to ITB. And then they lost to SSG, which is like that's a good team, so it's it's understandable.
Yeah.
But it was pretty tight games, went to overtime and whatnot. And then they beat Mind Freak 3-0 pretty convincingly, I would say. And then it was day 2, Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'm just pretty much chilling. Like Friday, I came in late because nothing to do really. Saturday, I'm in semis, so I also came in late. It felt weird because normally I come in really early, like 9:30, 10.
Yeah. But
Now
he was
I'm
seated
waking
straight into the semis for the FFA, so he didn't need to play from like 1.
Yeah, so I was just like, I'll just come in
Nice.
later. I came in at like 1:30ish, 2ish to watch Shots game. And then my games didn't start till 5, but while that was happening, there was still the bracket going
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
So like that was when Pure had to start from losers because they lost 2 pool play matches. So then they had to play against Cloud9 right away. Because Cloud9 lost against one team in the winners. I can't remember who it was. Maybe FaZe or something. I can't really remember at all. And then they beat Cloud9 3-0.
Yeah.
But Cloud9's a good team, though. Honestly, Cloud9's really good. Like, they almost knocked out SSG at SLC. They should have knocked out SSG at SLC. It was like a 2-kill difference. Game 5. And then right after beating Cloud9, they had to play another good team, ITB, right?
No, they only played ITB earlier.
No, they played ITB twice. What do you mean?
They did? Pure?
First, they beat Cloud9 3-0. and then they played against
Quadrant.
ITB Game 5.
They played against
Quadrant?
Quadrant. Went to game
Oh,
5
they
Quadrant.
played against
Yes.
Quadrant. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
confusing the
I'm like, what are you
teams.
talking about? No, you didn't.
Honestly, they're like the same team.
And that was a pretty intense.
That was
series.
intense. Went to Game 5. I can't remember the order of who won which games and stuff, but if you haven't seen that video, you should put that on, bro. The screaming thing.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Definitely put that on.
Tweet that to me when you can, because that's all Twitter stuff.
Is that Twitter stuff?
Yeah. I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, Pure was doing pretty well. And then the semis started. Or made it to the point where Areeb was playing in the
FFA? Yeah.
FFA, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. I was still practicing at that time. They played against Shopify first.
Yes, they played against Shopify.
They played against Shopify first, and then during game 3 of they were playing against Shopify, and my semi started. I looked up though; they were already up 2-0, and then it was live fire strongholds. I was like, yeah, Pure is not losing that. Like they've never lost that ever. So yeah, they 3-0 Shopify, and I had a pretty poor performance in semis. I don't even know if I want to talk about it. But yeah, I was doing pretty good at third. I think I was second for a tiny bit, but mostly third throughout the whole game, and then dropped down to fourth. Then tapping buttons caught up to me basically. Like the last minute, we were tied, had the same number of kills, and then he got like 2 kills in the last 30 seconds maybe, and something like that. And then he knocked me out by 2 kills. It was really tight though.
Yeah, it's FFA for you, man. I'm watching this guy. I can barely see his monitor because he's sitting all the way over there. I'm like, I'm trying to look at other people's screens. Freaking Lego. I'm looking for whenever he puts the scoreboard up. But when you put the scoreboard up when you're playing, you know exactly what you're looking for, right? So you don't keep it up for longer than like half a second. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, where's Nuke? Where's Nuke? Oh, I see him there. He's 7th to start, then moved up to, I think you were 3rd for a while.
Yeah.
And then the last minute and a half, I see he's 4th, and then drops to 5th, and I'm like, oh my god, he needs like 1 kill, just 1 kill. I'm looking at his screen, he dies without getting the kill, and then dies again without getting a kill, and then gets 1. By that point, the 4th had already gotten another kill, and man, it ends, and he got 5th by 2 kills. So the whole thing essentially, it's tough, it's rough, right? I mean, it's losing. It's if you made a top 4, you make it to finals, and from there you get some money, and you actually play. And to be honest, his semis lobby was probably harder than the finals lobby. Like it was like a bunch of really good people. But I mean, it is what it is. It's
sucked because there were like 5 of my friends in that semis.
Yeah.
So that sucked. Like we didn't get split up at all. I was like, holy flip, could one of us been in the other lobby? Like, so unfortunate. I sent you the clip, by the way, of Pure popping off.
First, I have a shot of Goober coming on stage, which I hadn't seen. So Goober is, if anyone plays FFA, he's really big in the community. He's made it to every single FFA finals in the last 3 years except SLC, which is a different map. And now he finally won Worlds.
He looks so awkward. That's so funny.
Yeah, he's a Canadian, actually. He lives in BC. So it's always nice to get some more Canadian representation. And the second place guy was also Canadian, just saying. But
yeah, there are 2 Canadians.
Guys are taking over.
There are 2
100%.
Canadians who got top 2, and then 2 Americans, 2 Mexicans, and 2 French players in the grand finals for the
That's
FFA.
really interesting.
Wow.
Because
Good
they
spread.
did it. Yeah, it's interesting because they did the FFA on Saturday this time, right? So all the pro teams that got out on Friday just played on it on Saturday. Normally, free for all is easier at Worlds because there's no pro players, there's no like amateurs playing from up in bracket. But this time, a bunch of pro players were just playing because they got knocked out on Friday.
Yeah, and the guy who knocked Areeb out was a pro player who got knocked out on Friday.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. He knocked me out first year as well.
Yeah.
So I get why they do it, but it's also like, spread the love a little bit.
Well, actually, they did it because of a 1v1 tournament they wanted to do on Friday instead, which they gave that main stage as well at the end. On Saturday, they let the players play on main stage for finals. It was like a $300 prize pool or something.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a tiny prize pool.
And FFA is a 25K prize pool, and we're playing an open station 3, like some random station. Like,
Man, did they do the intro video for Pure when they did this? No, they're already sitting. Maybe they didn't do it on Sunday because they did it so much earlier in the days.
On Friday, they definitely did it.
Friday they definitely did it. But either way, whatever. It's like the cringe, like super serious, but they had like this like weird like retro theme to it. But so Areeb gets out. Goober wins the FFA finals, which is cool. He
won by 10 kills.
Oh yeah, it was a fight for second place. Like first.
Like to the point that it was so dominant. Like I was surprised, honestly. Like, there's definitely like some skill difference
Yeah.
there, but also Lego had a really bad start. Actually, Lego was 0 and like 4 or something, so he was like 8th
Oh,
for a
that's
little bit.
crazy. I didn't know he had
Lego
that
was
bad of a start.
really far down,
Oh my
and
god.
then he actually caught up. Remember, you said Lego was winning. Like Lego caught up to first.
Yes, you're
for a
right. But for
tiny
a while
bit.
it was someone else. I forget the name. That was Saturday. Saturday night, weirdly enough, we get a confirmation through a tweet that HCS is continuing for year 4 with $1 million prize
Yeah, it
pool.
was a tweet.
Which was a little
Yeah.
surprising. We're like, okay, all right, because I mean, we knew, like Areeb knew because he talked to some people, but at the same time, it was always kind of like up in the air. Like, this is the
Yeah.
only Halo game to have more than 3 years of an HCS, which makes sense because usually the next Halo game comes out.
Yeah.
Well, HCS is pretty new too, though. Like,
Yeah, you're right. It's only been 10 years. I think this was a 10-year anniversary of it. Because that's why people have those shirts.
Yeah,
Say
yeah.
new in 10 years.
Well, new as in like
Well-
not like the previous Halo games, like the Bungie era.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Five,
that did last for a long time.
Yeah, during this,
Yeah.
because this is why I have him paused. It's the last shot. Who's been on the podcast before? He was actually on almost exactly a year ago when he won the previous Worlds FFA, and then I got him on. Yeah, I got him on the podcast. He's now part of like a top tier pro team, like heavy dark horse Team Pure, and they took it to they knocked out a bunch of good teams. They made it to Sunday, which is top 4 only, and they were up against FaZe in the very first thing in the morning. And it was rough. They ended up losing in game 5, which is really rough. But they played so well, and FaZe started playing so well. Like Frosty locked the hell in.
Yeah. Like I was just talking to Frosty on his stream right now, and he
Yeah.
was talking about how like even John said it as well. Like he said like this is the best series they've ever played. Like FaZe is saying this is the best series. Like all of them were playing the best they've ever played. Frosty was saying he was playing matchmaking before this game on main stage. He was playing matchmaking, and
What?
because Despiteful was in his chat, they were talking about it, and Frosty was like, after 2 rounds in oddball, like in matchmaking, he was like 50 and 18 or something. He was locked in. Like,
Oh man.
it's so funny. But yeah, they lost Strongholds by 2 points, and then they lost.
Man.
They lost
2
the Slayer
points.
by 2 kills. You can put it on though.
Yeah,
you
I
want
have
it
the
on.
highlights on for day 3. I'm assuming they're gonna get to it.
Yeah. This first game, like they won it, bro. They should not have. It was like they were down by 2 hills. There was like a minute left.
Yeah.
They ended up winning.
Yes. Yeah, the first game, right? Oh, is that the first game, the one where he gets to the hill in a second left?
You can go to the camel play if you want. Like just skip to the camel play.
That was the end of the first game, right?
Yeah. Well, not the end of the first game, but the hill before the last one.
Should be right here. 3 seconds left. No, he already got it. Oh, 1 second. Let me go back a little bit. Yeah, right here. Flipping hell. It's just one of the coolest plays. And we were watching this. Okay, when you're invested into a team based on more than just, I like how the team looks, right? It is so much more fun to watch. This is his camo play here. 9 seconds left in this hill. They're about to lose it. Like, if they lose it here, they're done. 5 seconds. Oh, man. Like, the ice you need to do this is just... It's crazy. It's crazy.
Because even like he sprinted with camo for a bit too, so it's a little bit of a risk, but it paid off. And like even after they get it, there's no reaction, right? Like 3 seconds left, but there's no facial expressions at all. Like that's just how locked they are.
Yeah, it was an incredible series. One of the best series I've
was
seen
insane
for sure.
too,
It
man.
sucks that they lost. They were this close, but honestly, I think FaZe played better in this series than they did against friggin' Optic after this.
I think so too. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of sad, like their performance against Optical stuff. But I just told Shot like, bro, thank God there's a year 2, right? Like, thank God there's another year.
Another year, yeah.
This was when Cherish had to go kill the guy. He had 2 nades. All he had to do is kill Snakebite, and they beat FaZe.
Oh,
bro.
Cherish was the guy with the 2 nades? Oh,
yeah.
man.
And then he goes back and he's like, bro, he screwed up, and now he goes for a trade.
Yeah, that's rough. They lose this by 2 points, and then they end up losing the Slayer at the ending by like, it was 49-47. It was so tight. And there are 30 seconds left on the clock, so they had to push. God damn. It was one of the craziest things I've seen. But anyways, that was HCS. HCS finals or worlds or whatever the flip it's called. Any questions about the event before we move on to the other stuff in the event?
I mean, they even mentioned in the chat like he plays MCC, but it's hard to go back because everyone's so good. That's so true, bro. It's so hard to go like try to play Halo 2 or Halo 3. Like,
Oh,
my
I got
God,
the
everyone's
I
so
got the
good.
video. Man, I wish I had audio enabled for you guys. I don't, because I don't want like random sounds coming
I
out.
can just open the.
No, no,
I have the stream open.
I have the video too. I'm just playing it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm
But,
saying I have
like,
yours. Yeah.
Oh man, this is when they beat Quadrant, and it was like, it
Wait, you don't
was
have
so
audio
hype
for the stream, man? You have to put the audio on. You can't?
for the stream.
Yeah.
Let me try it. Give me a second. You guys hear anything?
If I wasn't playing the stream or something.
Yeah, interestingly, I think this should be coming in.
Yeah, it's coming in.
This is the passion in these scenes.
Loving everything, and then
But yeah, it was a close game
I
5.
can't believe it was on HCS's Instagram though, eh?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Because there's like straight up swearing and stuff there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bro, it was heated because of like they had.
They know their audience.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It was heated because it was personal, right? Like, they lost to Quadrant in London. They lost to Quadrant at the last event, so like it was personal, and like they got yelled at by Quadrant too. Like it's not like Quadrant won, they get yelled at too.
I'm gonna
That
quickly
was
find the third
insane.
person. But okay, what also happened, and this is gonna be crazy. Nick, is Friday night. I'm waiting to
New Halo on it.
Friday
okay,
night?
I got
Yeah,
Friday
Friday
night.
night.
Friday night, I'm waiting to just meet Areeb at the end, and as I'm there, Areeb comes up. Someone else comes up to me, and with like a thick French accent, was like, "Are you SoulBlazerz?" I'm like, "The flip." Like, yeah, that's me. He's like, SoulBlazerz of the You Had Me at Halo podcast. I was like, the hell? Are you kidding me? He's like, I'm from France. This is the first time I've been to America. I came to watch this Halo Worlds, and I learned Halo from you guys. Like, that's how I learned about the game and everything, and I loved watching you guys. I feel so bad now that I didn't ask his name. Like, I really should have like, shout him out here.
Hopefully he's still watching because he used the
Yeah.
old name.
I'm telling you, it blew my mind, man. Like, friggin', that's the first time I've been recognized for that. I mean, it makes sense that would happen at like a Worlds event, but like, I wear my flippin' Xbox Era jersey one entire day. No one says anything to me. I wear the You Had Me at Halo jersey, and people kind of look like, hey, that's a funny shirt, right? I think without reading the word podcast on it, they just think it's a pun. But like that, it blew my mind, dude. Like,
Yeah, interaction. When I was bigger in the Halo community and stuff, and then when I worked at the studio and stuff, obviously my name got a little bit bigger.
yeah,
And like going to stuff like that, it's like you'd run into a couple people, and it's like they would have that that starstruck moment, and it's like something weird because it's like, you know, it's like, well, I'm
just a dude. I'm just
it's
a
like, I
normal
don't,
dude.
yeah, it's like, you know, we're not like huge, you know, internet famous and stuff.
Not
but
at
like,
all.
to some of these people, like, you know, we're I wouldn't say superstars, but like you know, a little bit more
Yeah,
on celebrity
yeah.
row.
I know
It's just
exactly what you mean.
it's weird.
It's friggin' hell, man. It was just so cool. I was awestruck for like so long after that. But it also kind of reaffirms that like we should, you know, we keep doing what we're doing, even if our audience isn't 200, 300 people. That's fine, right? Like, you guys are watching, you guys like what we do, we're gonna keep it up, we're gonna keep doing it. Especially with the Halo stuff we'll talk about soon, as we continue. In terms of viewership, Worlds did okay. I think it got 103K total on Twitch at the peak, which is not bad. I think last year was like 115, 120. So it's not too much of a decline.
I heard Shotzi was there, like streaming it in the backstage.
Yeah, I heard that
Yeah.
too. I had no idea.
Did you check his viewer count too, or no?
I mean, I was just looking at Halo
Total?
in general in the thing, but no, this number came from like a website or a Twitter
Okay.
that tracks it.
Okay,
It
okay.
tracks
know
every Halo.
Hidden-
I mean, esport event.
I know Hidden Experience
103K.
was there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro,
he was. I
Actman-
said hello to him a couple times.
Actman was there, bro.
Actman was there.
Yeah,
I don't know at all what he looks like in real life. I'll be honest.
his Twitter profile picture, bro. Or he
thought it's
posted tweets and
Is
stuff.
this
Yeah.
profile picture a cartoon?
Yeah, but like that's how he looks like.
What?
Just straight up like
Hackman, I
one-
got a bit of a love-hate relationship with Hackman. Mostly hate. But
Who else was there? Broward
obvious-
Clips. I think he's known in the Halo scene a little bit.
Brown Eclipse?
Broward. Broward.
Broward. Yeah, he was
A little
there.
bit known.
Okay.
Halo Box Studios were there, but I didn't get a chance to see them. They're making like old school Machinima style videos with Halo Infinite,
Nice.
and they're so much fun. I think one of them is John's friend. ForgeFalcons were there, which we'll get into soon. Because they had an
Oh,
entire panel at the community stage, like a full
Wow.
hour-long panel with the ForgeFalcons. They're sitting there introducing themselves. They're talking about 3 new things they're making coming to Halo Infinite. Sorry.
They really took off.
Yeah, dude. They really did. But their main dude wasn't there, like Millennium Falcon, who's constantly active on Twitter. I was hoping to meet him because I've interacted with him a few times, but he wasn't there. It was a few other people. They went through the forging process and like the art process and things like that. It was really cool seeing them like get legitimized that much. You know?
Yeah, it's cool when they allow the community to do that. When I was back on Forge Hub, we had a panel at Halo Outpost, one of those events done and stuff, and got to talk about that. It's like, it's pretty cool.
That's sick. That's really cool.
I mean, nothing that like Worlds.
I
or
know,
like
but still, no, Halo
other-
Outpost was still decently popular. I kind of regret not being able to go to one. There's one in Chicago. I should have just driven down and gone to it.
Yeah, it was they were always cool, and the studio wanted to do more of them, but we talked about it before.
Mm,
Logistics.
no, it makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Moving on, because we can talk about a ton of stuff. We're gonna next move over to a feature coming to Halo Infinite, which I don't think anyone really expected. Which is third person.
Honestly, well, I didn't expect them to release it. I knew it could be done. Because so the way that the camera rigs work in Halo Infinite, and like what they use for it's essentially there's like these snap points in like multiple areas all around the model, and the camera snaps to those, and so they used it heavily in
the campaign.
Which campaign. And they always talked about it at the time, like years ago, that it could potentially go into multiplayer and like as a forge option or a custom game options, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that it took honestly this long for them to enable it.
Well, I feel like it's like, do we even want to like try third person in Halo publicly? Like, is that something you want to release to the public? Is I think probably more so that rather than the technical aspect behind it.
I mean, I would have thought that they would have had it for custom games and stuff. That's where I thought they were going to allow the option. Like when Halo released, I was surprised that it wasn't, because I was like, well, I know that they can do it and it was talked about. So
yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty cool update. It made some waves, some not so good waves. A lot of people were like, well, not a lot, but some people were like, oh, it's just turning into Fortnite, because of course there was never a third person shooter before 2017.
yeah.
But it does look a little Fortnite-y in terms of the movement and how quick it moves and stuff like that. Yeah. I'll give it that, right?
Yeah, especially when you have the sword, for sure. I was like, oh.
When you have the sword of the hammer, all I'm thinking of is Destiny. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah.
It
but
does
like
too,
when,
with all the energy and stuff. Yeah.
When Fortnite added a sword in their game, I can't remember when. I played randomly once and it looked like that, Loki. I thought that's pretty cool.
Like, it's cool that like the third person is smoother transition between third person and third person. You know what I mean? Like when you get into a car and it just stays third person.
Yeah.
We know it's coming in November. It's coming to Firefight first, I believe. And it's also coming to specific PvP modes. I think Fiesta. I think it's gonna be its own separate playlist. You can't play a playlist where one guy's going friggin' third person and one guy's doing friggin' first person. You know?
Corner camping. And
Yeah,
stuff.
corner peeking without needing to peek.
Yeah, peeking. That's it. Yeah.
Oh god. I feel like Super Fiesta will be insane with this, just in general. But yeah, it's a really cool feature. I feel like people are like, oh, why they develop this instead of assassinations? And it's like, you're like what you just said. I feel like most of this was already in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was already there. It wasn't. It's not like it took a bunch of resources and stuff for them. I mean, maybe to like tweak it a little bit
And
to
make, like, get a build ready, like
and
release
stuff.
ready.
Yeah, and make sure it didn't break anything. But I mean, like, the mechanic is already there for when you pick up a turret.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like, it's there. So if people were worried that like they spent a bunch of time and resources on adding it, no, it was more of like hey, we should, like, we have this thing, let's release it, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it was just
Yeah,
like
agreed.
it probably took no more than a week. Probably less.
I'm gonna move around a little bit just because the meat we're gonna talk about for a little while. I'm just gonna quickly touch on the Haloween update, which came this yesterday, literally, and with it came the return of Night of the Living Dead, which I got a little new poster on too because I met the dudes there after the panel a little bit and grabbed a poster. It was awesome.
Nice.
And dude, the mode slaps. Like, it's straight up just really, really fun. It feels more fine-tuned than when it was in the combat
Oh, did you
workshop.
play it?
Yeah, I played it for like 2 hours last night.
Oh, damn nice.
I
I
did
was gonna
not.
try to play it today, but I told these guys earlier that like I went to download Halo, and for some reason my Xbox, when it wants to download a Halo update, it hangs, or like it just like sits there like 0%, just been like installing and or updating. I'm just like, but you're not. You're just kind of sitting there. And I restart the Xbox and stuff, and usually if I just let it sit for long enough, it does it. But so I didn't get to play it today.
One of the Infinite Umbra, what's up? Nice to see you here. We're talking about Forge. One of the coolest things, by the way, in this mode compared to the combat workshop is the music. You know how they're like when you go in.
Oh, they added
streets,
music?
Yeah, when you go to streets and you go by the arcade, right? You hear like the arcade music.
That's
That's in here. It's a track that was in Forge. People can add it in. So
Mhm.
there's like an arcade version of Night in the Woods. There's an arcade version of Night in the Woods. Sorry, Walk in the Woods, or whatever the flip it's called. Of the
they
main theme.
made the things look cooler.
Dude, and this is just one of 3 maps, and they all 3 play pretty differently. Like, also, it's genuinely difficult. Near the end, I was straight up dying, and also you die once, you can revive, but you don't have your friggin' upgrades. So it's like
Yeah, this is Nocturne and Totem.
Yeah, it's genuinely one of the most fun I've had in Halo Infinite. Like, for anyone watching, if you're on the fence, give this mode a shot because it's rotational. So I think in 2 weeks it'll probably rotate out, and you'll miss your chance. You can always play
Hopefully
the
not.
first, but
And hopefully they keep it until
Halloween.
after
Yeah,
Halloween.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, probably a full month.
if they get rid of it before Halloween, I don't know. That just
Yeah.
seems a bit weird.
Technically, they're bringing Infection back, and as with another mode called Alpha Infection. That's coming in too. But like in general, it was just a ton of fun. Like I can't overstate it. It's just a lot of fun playing the game. Grab a couple friends, split it on. I'm not sure if they did it or not yet, but in the panel they mentioned that the first fire team to make it to the very end as soon as possible can contact them, and they'll send them like posters or like little goodies or something.
Nice.
For doing so. Okay, before I leave that, I wanted to quickly go over so in their panel, right, they talked about like various things and blah blah blah, but they also showed the battle royale, which should be coming, I think, to Combat Workshop soon. And it looks pretty fun. I remember playing it like way back, like 1.0.
Like the Forge one, right?
The Forge one, yeah. Remember that one where like they made like terrain that would like make on its own? Forget the term for that.
I don't know. I never actually played it.
I
Oh.
played this battle royale mode.
Generative terrain or something. They said like they had that as initial plan. It didn't work, so they scrapped it. And then did something
we played
else.
it on stream.
Yes, we did a little bit. Yeah, I remember. That was like the 1.0 version. Now it's like a fair
Wait,
bit more
there's
polished.
Covenant in it?
Yeah, now that there's AI, they added a little bit of Covenant to get some points and here and there. You know what's crazy is the Night of the Undead, the concept of that was made way before a campaign AI was added. It was just through bots is what they were going to do.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that actually.
But one other thing they did, and man, I'm not going to do this justice, but they kind of teased. They had a trailer. It was really sick. For a new mode that they're making called Helljumpers. Played off on Helldivers. And look at it, it's literally called gameplay reveal. It was it's really cool. I'm gonna keep it playing on the stream a little bit so you guys can see. But it's like a campaign experience they're making for the last like 2 to 3 hours or something. And they said they want you to have like 6 missions in the game, and you go back to the Pelican, you have progression during the game. But they can't load in and out, right? So it's like kind of with the restrictions of the stuff. But you play as ODSTs. And in general, it just feels super polished, super professional looking. Like,
so this is a Forge thing?
Yeah, this is a Forge thing. They revealed this on stage, the first look at this new mode that they're making, before anyone got a chance to see it.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's just interesting that they're able to do the ODST.
Oh no! So the visor, that's just for trailer. That's just a trailer effect.
Okay.
At the bottom of the screen, it says HUD added for demo.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure they're all decked out in ODST.
That sucks.
Armor, so. Yeah, I know, right? That would have been so cool. If I'm Infinite, I'm looking at that and I'm like, or 343.
If they release some nice, more classic ODST armor, I'd be happy.
It'd be really cool.
You mean the Halo 2 look? That's
this here is like in Helldivers, you can call in like ordnances.
Yeah.
This is like one of those. Like there's defensive ones, offensive ones. In the game as you play, you get different ones, and you can use them. And just genuinely, it looked really, really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
But okay, enough of Forge and me gushing over that and wanting to play it. Like, ugh. Let's move up to the meat and potatoes. So
yeah, all the big news.
Yeah, straight up. I'm gonna play the video.
Chris Matthews.
So they announce, right? The night before, they announced that they have a studio update tomorrow, before the grand finals. And we're all just like, what the hell are they talking about, right? Some of us did guess name change.
Oh.
Just because it kind of made sense. We know the studio's been, pretty different than what it used to be.
Yeah, when like all of the senior leadership is like gone.
Yeah,
I think
straight up.
Pierre and Van Wyck, who are the main people now, they were like the last, I think, of the leadership that was left. Yeah, the old guard. Because Van Wyck did, she did like business stuff. Like that was kind of like her thing. She when I was there, she was like head of like business or something like that. Probably butchering the title, but I know she did like business and money things.
No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Also, what's interesting is so Pierre was finally there at the event. This is his first public appearance, I'm pretty sure, since it was announced. He had that little message where he's like 343 and the Master Chief will continue working on Halo or something like that, blah blah blah. So when the rumors are saying 343 is shuttering and Halo's moving over to someone else, all that stuff. Yeah.
I'm watching the video and I've seen some familiar faces.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, people I work with.
It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick.
But they have this video, and about like actually Areeb caught this even earlier when Pierre was talking, which I did not catch at all. Is while Pierre was talking, or the guy next to him was talking, they mentioned Unreal 5, our work in Unreal 5. I didn't catch it until I was watching the trailer, and someone said our work in Unreal. I'm like, holy flip, this is it. It's official. We've heard the rumors for years and years, but this is actually happening. And so they release this 6.5-minute video with devs talking and showing environments in Unreal 5, and
I'll need to actually, because I only seen the environment shots. I haven't seen the actual full video. I'll need to go through and listen to them talk. And obviously know all the news already.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what did you guys think? I've been talking literally the entire time. What did you guys think?
So I think it's, I mean, when I first heard this, I was like, man, on the podcast, I said multiple times, like, oh, they're not going to go to Unreal 5.
That was my first thought too.
Or maybe I knew the whole time and I was just misdirecting. Oh,
maybe.
Oh no.
Maybe.
But yeah, when I heard it, I was like, yeah, man, it sucks. Cause I worked a little bit on the engine. I mean,
Mm.
I wasn't any major part of it. I just helped find bugs and things like that, and things that broke. I was like, hey, yo, devs, this stuff's you broke this. You need to fix it. So, so it's like, but so I had some part in the process, and it kind of is sad to see that they will be shelving it. I mean, they're going to
Yeah.
keep it going with Halo Infinite
And
and riding out
MCC.
the lifestyle and MCC.
Yeah.
But it so it's kind of sad to see that go.
So it's like bittersweet,
But at
right?
the same time, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a little bit bittersweet. Because I know originally when we talked about the switch over to Unreal,
Yeah.
I know I mentioned before, and it's been out there and stuff too, is like they originally talked about what before even Halo Infinite, we're early on in the like before prototyping began for Halo Infinite. They tested the waters with Unreal Engine 4.
Yeah.
And they didn't they said it didn't feel right. It like
Yeah.
they couldn't get the feel of Halo. So they were just like, well, we'll just essentially rebrand and build upon
Blam.
Blam, which for the whole time I was working there, I was under the assumption that because I've like tried to correct people and stuff on this before, but reading through what Pierre wrote in Xbox Wire article is like that apparently the engine has been just cobbled together and stuff over the past like 25 years. It's like it's the same engine. It is the Blam engine, just like reskinned with some newer stuff.
Yeah.
And I always thought they like gutted most of it, which I think they kind of did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way, they didn't have Unreal back then didn't feel right. So it's nice knowing now that they're confident with Unreal Engine 5 because it will help with like the design process or the pipeline a whole lot faster now.
I mean, they have a line here in the thing where they say like part of the conversation we had was about how to help the team focus on making games versus making the tools and the engines. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because like a large part of the team was focused on making the engine. And it's like if you wanted to do something, you're like, okay, well, we got to make that into the engine.
Free advertising.
Say it again.
And
the guy's holding Dr. Pepper, bro. Free advertising.
He was.
Oh,
that's funny.
Ryan.
I get it, right? It's bittersweet in the sense where it's like another proprietary engine down the drain. It's not a good thing that every studio is homogenizing towards one or two engines. That's not a good thing for gaming in general. But I mean, it kind of is what it is.
It kind of feels like AutoCAD, right?
Yes.
How almost everyone uses AutoCAD for like some construction projects.
Standard.
Yeah. It kind of feels something like that. Where it's like
there's even AutoCAD has competitors in the exact same field.
Okay.
Yep. And like SolidWorks, I think is a variation of CAD and stuff. But it's like it kind of sucks that like a lot of studios are going to just one type of engine, but that engine is pretty versatile. When you see so many studios and stuff going and using it, but then seeing a wide variety of games still be made that don't all feel like they're the same. They feel like they're their own thing. It does make it a little bit easier of a pill to swallow. And obviously like Gears and stuff has always used Unreal.
Yep. Like Microsoft has like 8 studios using Unreal at this point. Like they have a lot.
Yeah.
They share resources.
So they're a huge company, or they're a huge part of like using the engine. So I'm confident that, and usually with stuff like that too, like Epic will probably has their own like Halo department that will be focused on making the tools and stuff like that.
That would make sense. Microsoft's huge. I wouldn't be surprised if Coalition is also like full hands-on helping them with this transition.
Yep. And there's probably going to be some cross team talk about like, hey, we need this kind of thing. Like you guys do it. A lot of it will probably go to like Epic representatives,
Yeah.
who then like, and it's the same thing. Like when we reached out to other teams and stuff, in Halo Infinite, it would be like, hey, like for Forge, we reached out to, I forget their names on the tip of my tongue, but I forget. They were a team out in Russia, and a Spearsoft, I think it was.
Yes,
And,
yeah, Spearsoft, yeah, Spearsoft.
yeah, and so they like we'd reach out, and be like, hey, they made the tools and stuff like that. So there'll be a lot of back and forth, and a lot. And I was talking to some people on Twitter yesterday or the day before that like a game hasn't been announced yet. So
Yes.
like something's probably starting in the works, but most likely we won't see something for a few years, and by then like they're gonna have a lot of time to develop the engine even further, and the tools and stuff that they need, and then make sure that the feel is there.
And what's nice is they're making this transition not at like pre-Unreal Engine release, you know what I mean? Because Unreal Engine 5 is not a perfect engine. We've talked about this before. It has issues. There's stutter present in almost every Unreal Engine 5 game that's out there. But as the years progress, as the time progresses, people catch these issues. They fix them, they solve them, or they find workarounds.
I like that shot with the Banshee. That was cool.
Wait,
showing like something moving.
Shot. So what's interesting is that was a sick shot. That's straight from Halo CE. Speaking of, we'll get to that soon. But there's a couple really cool points in the article, which is one second, let me get to this one. They kind of reiterate again and again and again that like with Halo Infinite, they realize players expect updates at a much faster rate than they used to. Like that game's changed.
I mean, the plan was to have updates more regularly.
Yeah.
And stuff that like.
I mean, I don't think it helps that Halo 5 had really fast updates for a good 18 months, right? Like,
yeah.
But they're saying like one big thing with Unreal is they can focus on making the game. It has the tools. I mean, we know for a fact that Unreal Engine can release games updates quicker. Look at Fortnite. Look at even Gears 5 had decently quick updates in Unreal Engine 4 at the time. And that's something we've talked about, right? In this very podcast, even with the previous members, where we're like, the switch to Unreal Engine 5 solves a lot of their issues in terms of pipeline. Right?
Yep.
343 is not going to go and change the state laws of Washington. So they're not going to go and fix the contractor issue. But by making the switch to Unreal Engine 5, you alleviate that a bit too, because it's a public engine. People have decades of experience working on it. They don't got to go in and relearn. Even though I know you've said it's not as different as some have made it out to be, like Subspace and Unreal, at least that entire little bit is gone. That learning phase is just you're a senior developer, you're a senior developer. Like,
and a bunch of the devs at the studio, I know similar sentiments probably still there, is a lot of them didn't like having to rely on contractors. It's not like that they hated contractors and stuff. They just hated the system.
Yeah,
because
I mean, you work with someone and then they're gone in 18 months. Like, what the hell?
Yep, and you have to like wait 6 months to like possibly bring them back.
Yeah,
and so until then you have to find someone else, but then they're there for like 18 months most likely.
Yeah,
and it's like, so trying to get someone brought up to speed takes especially on the new engine and tools and stuff would take like 3 months, if that, and then like by the time they're kind of running and doing well, then it's like, oh well, I have to spend the next like month, couple weeks or whatever, and like off or hand it off to someone else, because it's like, oh well, my contract.
There's an onboarding, then there's an offloading process too, right? Like it's constant.
So really, you only get like a few. You get like 6 months, like maybe 10 months of like actual good work out of them. Which seems like a long time, but
when it could be 18.
So, it could be 18
or like 16, let's say, but still.
It's a bit random, but I thought like it's hard to release updates fast on the Xbox and PS5, but Fortnite releases updates pretty fast, right?
It's not that it's hard to release updates fast, that it's more strict than it is on Steam. It's a super easy on Steam. Steam, there's no flip and check at all. You can release an update, you're done. your update. You can release one every day if you wanted to.
With Xbox, you have to go through. I forget the process for it, but like after 343, I was moved to a studio that did that that process, which like some games and stuff, if you're a big enough studio, you can kind of bend some of the rules a bit and kind of push some stuff out.
Yeah.
Essentially, like if you had a promise of just like you really needed this update to go out, and then we'd find someone who's like, oh yeah, this is gonna break this thing though, or it's like has some issues here. They'll be like, oh, we have another update for that, but we need this one approved to push it, and then we'll just do a patch and stuff afterwards. And there's some stuff like that. But yeah, essentially it like when a game wants to release an update or even release, it has to go through a checklist. So you check how it runs on a bunch of different systems. You check all the basic functionality, make sure it passed all that stuff, and then it releases. So, it can take like a few days or a week, but sometimes you get the they want like an update, say an update Friday. They want to push on Friday, and then we would get it like we get the build and stuff today, and then we'd have to blaze through it and get it all back to them, so that way they know like, hey, yeah, this thing you wanted to do, it's broken here and stuff. So yeah, so it can take a while.
I feel like they might also be able to hotfix things more with Unreal, possibly.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Just on their own servers end, making some changes there rather than pushing like a full update to people's Xboxes.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's playing now is my live recording. I knew they were gonna announce something cool, so I got up, I got near the center, and I recorded footage on my camera. Ended up being a lot cooler than I thought what they'd announced. I'm not gonna lie. But like after I recorded this, I ran to my hotel because my data sucked. I went to my Wi-Fi, uploaded it, sent it straight to Jesse. I'm like, Jesse, upload this now. Go. And it did pretty well. It's at like 27,000 views.
Nice.
Yeah. We talked a lot about Pierre, right? When he took over, and we know he's done so well with MCC. He fixed that thing, brought it back. Though apparently right now it's kind of needs some work. Hopefully they address it a bit in November.
Well, that's because they took him off of it. They gave him all this other stuff.
But it's like again and again I've said, like, in Pierre we trust, right? Like whatever decision he makes. And the move to Unreal feels like a calculated risk, right? In a way where it's like there's so many pros. It's you can make things quicker, better pipeline, contractors are more reliable, things like that.
Honestly, Pierre probably also wanted a fresh start as well, right?
yeah.
Like it's easier to like be more involved if it's a fresh start.
Oh, his words, dude. If you want to read them out really quick, he's like, if you really break Halo down, there have been two very distinct chapters. Chapter 1, Bungie. Chapter 2, 343 Industries. Now I think we have an audience who's hungry for more. So we're not just going to try to improve the efficiency of development, but change the recipe of how we make Halo games. So we start a new chapter today.
Interesting.
They the studio is also was painfully aware of their reputation. It's like like even when I was working there, that they knew with Infinite that they had to try to get it right, because there was a lot of stuff like they knew that
we have an opinion piece about
fans
just that.
Stuff like that. Yeah, that the fan stuff weren't as happy, and things like that. So like
and I'd argue they got it right. Halo Infinite releases November 15th. People love the multiplayer. December 8th, the campaign releases. People love it so much that they vote the game Player's Choice Game of the Year because it released too late to be nominated in the TGAs of that year, right? People loved it.
Yeah.
I was leaning on giving it like a 9 or something on the multiplayer if I got my review out in time. And then, of course, it soured on it 3, 4, 5, 6 months later when there was like almost no updates. And we all know the story of how that went.
Yep. Yeah. And the and I know they knew they dropped the ball and stuff with it. It's like they it was unfortunate. And then we've talked about this ad nauseum.
Yeah.
But going back to Unreal Engine 5 talk, because there's a question in the chat that with the upcoming new Halo game in Unreal Engine 5, which is thank you, which is a rumor which is a rumor remake of Halo CE. Question is it coming to PlayStation and maybe the next gen Switch? It might come to PlayStation. That there's definitely the rumors and things and talks of that. If they were to remake Halo CE in Unreal Engine 5, it would one would think that it would be a good opportunity to
Onboard
put
a
it
new
over
audience.
to yeah.
Yeah.
Onboard them. I personally hope that they don't remake Halo CE.
I'm in full agreement there.
It's like they already remade it. It was great. I like the remake, even though it was kind of just a reskin and stuff, or updated textures and stuff like that. I think that if they remake it, what I'm afraid of is that they are going to make some tweaks. For like, well, obviously the gameplay will be a little bit different. If they update it, using the new stuff. Hey Jesse. And yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't like it. I think that yeah. Let me back up it because I read and I lost my train of thought, and then now I got it back again.
Halo CE, right? The remake.
Yeah.
I mean, straight to Hytham's question. I feel like they should split the multiplayer up and the campaign up. Keep the campaigns exclusive to Xbox. Halo is Xbox, right? Put the multiplayers on any goddamn thing you can. Be it the Switch 2, be it people's friggin' mobile phones, bro. Be it like get that everywhere. You know?
Okay, I mean they straight up said that everything they showed they're planning on using in the future, right?
Yes. They explicitly said
And this like straight up looks like Halo CE, like the armor, the pistol.
What's
I think
interesting is
expecting a CE remake is kind of like
what's interesting.
Yeah.
is someone actually, I forget who it was on Twitter. I gotta find the link, but someone looked at a couple things and they're like, "This looks straight out of Halo 3." Like straight
I saw
out
that.
of Halo 3.
Yeah. But it didn't,
I
bro.
mean-
Like I just saw that. Honestly, did not. Like
No. There were some parts of it, not necessarily there was clearly
some
Halo
parts of it
CE,
for sure.
but some parts
Yeah,
of it
it
apparently
is.
looked out of
Some parts
Halo.
for sure. Some parts for sure.
Environment wise, it is more Halo 3, but I would also argue that Halo 3, with some of the environments and stuff, that Halo 1, if they would have had the technology of Halo 3, we probably would have seen very similar environments. But yeah, I just hope though that they keep the story exactly how it was and they don't do any kind of retcon.
Yeah, I don't want.
That's what I'm afraid
like
of.
I'm sorry, Shingy. I don't want a weird meta remake like Final Fantasy 7. If they are rebooting Halo CE, in my opinion, it should be a low scope reboot, as in like something that won't take more than a couple years for a relatively smaller team. Something that they can release. It's still just as long as Halo CE. Maybe like John actually had a video on this. I want to play that really quick as we're talking about. Is it a CE remake? Maybe make it like maybe expand some levels. You know, let you use a sword, for example. That always felt lacking in CE. The final chase sequence, you can expand on that a little bit. You know, it's a little slow and boring these days compared to when we were kids.
It's so fun.
You just drive
it's
straight.
So fun.
Or even giving it a fresh coat of paint, I think actually would help a lot, right?
Honestly, the bigger thing is
Another fresh coat of paint.
like you shouldn't be adding a bunch of extra features to it, like Forge and whatnot.
Yes. Also,
like,
no sprint. No sprint. I know diehards will be like, oh no, if it's a CE goddamn remake, increase base movement speed. Don't put sprint.
I mean, we'll see what they do. I don't know.
With adding Forge, I mean, I can see them doing that because I mean, you did have Halo Custom Edition, which was the like original Forge.
Yeah.
So like I could see them adding that in because that was a huge hit and that was a huge market in itself. If they do do a Halo 3 remake, that'd be awesome. I hope that they just remake MCC.
Like Halos 1, 2, and 3 and the multiplayers and everything, bro.
Yes, just go full bore. If they just do a full remake, just do all the campaigns and stuff. Just do it.
That would be amazing. Don't get me wrong.
I don't think they need that. I don't think Halo 3 even needs a remake.
Halo 3 needs a remake. All right. Halo 1 and 2 got good.
Yeah, Halo 1 and 2 got it. Like we should get a Halo 3. Everyone's been wanting that one for a while.
I mean, it'd be hype to get, but like it doesn't. Loki doesn't need it. It's so good.
if we
It doesn't.
looking at
It
the
does still hold up. I think, pretty
anniversaries
well.
next year, no, 26, right, is the 25-year anniversary of Halo CE, technically.
Yeah.
27 is the 20th year anniversary of Halo 3, technically.
Yeah.
27, right? Yeah. So these were his exact words in the thing. Actually, it's on screen too, but I'll read it from the thread where Pierre was saying, or I'm not sure if it's Pierre, but either way, someone was saying, Matthews, where this type of work's been done historically, as in like the like this kind of like demo showcase stuff across the industry, it can contain a lot of smoke and mirrors. It sometimes leads players down paths where they believe it's going to be one thing and then something else happens. And to be honest, Halo Infinite kind of had that with the space demo, showing the water and the beaches and stuff.
Yeah, and the animals and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of that had to be
Yeah.
cut,
Flipping
unfortunately.
hell. That was so.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So they say the ethos of Foundry is vigorously the opposite of that. Everything we've built is built to the kind of standards that we need to build for the future of our games. We were very intentional about not stepping into tech demo territory. We built things we truly believe in, and the content that we've built, or at least a good percentage of it, could travel anywhere inside our games in the future if we so desire it. And then Hint goes further to say, it's fair to say that our intent is that the majority of what we showcased in Foundry is expected to be in projects which we are building or future projects.
So to me, because they did like some careful wording and stuff. So
Yes.
like it's very possible that we might never see that that flood environment.
Yes,
because
yes.
they never said that everything. They said
mean,
most stuff.
When does
So,
flood
like-
even overtake that much? Halo 3, I guess?
Yeah, well, it does. Technically, it does. Like, if you go back to the lore of the books and
Oh, that's true. No,
things like
no,
that.
what I mean is like in game. Sorry, like when have we seen a
Oh.
game in the past that does it? And honestly,
yeah, no, not Halo 3 is when we got the most extent of Halo, a little bit of Halo 2 as well, but Halo 3 is when we saw a lot more of those environments when you get on the ships and stuff like that. And like on the Ark and things like that.
Like looking at that though, like the last level of Halo 3 where you're going up that
Yeah.
tower that's super flood infected. Imagine if they
Mhm.
remake Halo 3 and it's like actually flood infected. Like something like this.
Yeah, true. Honestly, it could be Halo 3, man. I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jesse was saying in the
Uh,
chat, a lot of the environments look like they're out of Halo 3 more than they're out of Halo CE. The
Mm.
armor
Yeah, because
and the gun is definitely CE, don't get me wrong.
even but who knows? A lot of people like the classic look. Classic, if you're going to present like a new studio name, and like that, I mean, they keep on bringing the old armors back every single game.
Yep.
So like, obviously the original armor is the way to go. It's like you're either going to do the original armor or like the or the Halo 2 or 3 armor.
Honestly,
Like-
I'm not too fond of the very original Halo CE armor. It's too blocky. I think Infinite is the best take on that armor, personally.
Yes, I think Halo Infinite is the I love the Halo Infinite armor.
The remake for it? Yeah, bro. It looks really good.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
talking about even just Chief and Halo Infinite. Like the
Oh, Chief
campaign.
and Halo Infinite, he looks like a
That is my
man,
favorite
bro.
Chief armor. Personally.
He looks so
Yeah.
macho, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is my it's like when I imagine Chief,
Yeah.
that's what I imagine is the Halo Infinite.
Yeah, 100. He looks like he's like him, like straight up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. 100%.
Oh god,
Yeah,
definitely.
it-
100%.
it's like that's why it's always weird to like go back to the Halo 1 thing because it's like I know it's Chief, but to me it doesn't feel like Chief because I played Halo 2 like fucking crazy.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so I like that's always the Halo 2 and 3 armor is always what ingrained into my head.
Anorexic is talking about what about Halo CE from the perspectives of various soldiers, and again that'd be really really
That'd
cool.
be
But
that
like
would be interesting.
where I went with the CE stuff is, I don't give a crap if they're remaking CE 2, 3, 4. I honestly don't care. Whatever the hell they're doing, don't have it push the next mainline game forward 5, 6, 7 years. You know what I mean?
Which they said they're going to be working on multiple projects
Yes.
at once. So
They were
this
actually
is something we
again and
haven't
again
touched on
adamantly
yet.
saying in the past we were only a single Halo game studio. That's changing.
Mhm.
We're working on
Yep.
multiple projects.
Thus the name Halo Studios.
Yes, which
Which the logo, in my opinion, needs a bit of work.
have you seen the stuff about how it looks like one of the older logos?
Yeah.
Oh, there definitely is a
That the
reason
one
for
on like
this.
the
On the scrap
the
paper?
one on the like nope. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like there has to be a reason for this logo, right? Like, I mean, I don't hate it as much as other people hate
So
it, assuming that there's something behind it.
one
you know
thing
what I
for
mean?
It looks
sure.
too much like a toy company
Mega
logo.
Blocks.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
returns.
I mean, it looks more like a movie.
It does. It looks like
Honestly.
something I'd see in like the beginning of watching a movie.
Yeah, 100%.
At the same time, someone
not
made this
bad.
point on Reddit recently, and I fully agree. Is someone's like, I fixed the Halo Studios logo, and they just put like the normal Halo font, and someone's like, you can't have the new studio name and logo be the exact same as the logo of the games you're playing. That doesn't work. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you like hyperanalyze it, like there's probably something more to it, no? Like, I mean, I haven't done that, but
I mean, do you see how the logo's made? It's like all those lines, and they like slice onto each other. Then like the logo shows up.
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like
it's
foreigner type
interesting.
or what?
It's definitely more foreigner than the other one is.
Yeah.
Definitely
I
more
think it's
foreigner for
definitely-
sure.
The original Halo logo kind of feels like what 343 thought foreigners were like, or at conception. And this
Wait, so
kind
why
of
is there a thing sticking out of the O at the end? Like, what would that represent?
that's definitely the marathon symbol, right? I mean, it's got to be.
Marathon? Oh,
No, Marathon didn't have a. Well, I guess I had a little dongle.
Oh
like
no,
that,
sorry,
but
not the
as
marathon
much.
symbol. My bad. The reclaimer symbol,
Reclaimer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
right?
Yes, I was thinking along the
Yeah.
lines of that a little bit.
Which I'm pretty sure is based on the marathon symbol, but I'll have to double check.
It is actually. Aren't they both the same thing?
I think they're very similar. I'm
Marathon
fine
and
with the
Reclaimer,
name.
I think
Halo
so.
Studios is I'm okay with. The logo
Yeah,
still needs to. Honestly, it's grown on me more today than it has when I first saw it. Like,
Yeah, it's growing on me a little bit. I'll admit it's not horrible. I probably because it's just new that I don't
Yes,
like it.
yes.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm
like,
the only
I
guy
don't
who
mind
saw
the
it
name
and was
change.
like, "That's okay," but I want to know why. Like, it's like the
at the
Kinda
same
Yeah.
time, I
like
think
it.
like this super bright version of it might not be how they always portray it. You know what I mean? Maybe
I mean,
another
when he
reason.
was wearing it on his shirt, like it looked good. Like his shirt said Halo Studios
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
it did look good. It did look good.
It didn't look bad. Like, I don't know. I don't think it looks bad. but-
I'd wear a shirt on it. Oh, speaking of shirts, I went Sunday morning and I got like this random HCS shirt. It's like super faded.
Oh, that's the one I have.
Really?
That is from one of the old HCS shirts.
Yeah, it was a
from,
bunch of
like-
old shirts that they were giving away, and I barely got
Yeah.
one.
That I got a red and a blue one. That was like when the first year of HCS.
Oh, that's sick. Okay, so it is a pretty old
Whoa.
shirt. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, it was an extra large only, and I thought it wouldn't fit. Bro, this fits so well. What the hell? This is so
Mine have
comfortable.
shrunk and they don't fit anymore.
Okay, that might make sense.
They also like didn't have my size at the time, so it was already like a little bit tight.
Oh my god.
But A's, what I wanted to get back to talking about the Halo Studios and the multiple games and stuff, kind of touching back on the comment about from Anorexic about the perspective
Yes.
from the Halo CE. I hope that with the new studio direction and things like that, and with being able to do multiple games at once, I am hoping we will finally see an expansion of the universe through the games.
Yes.
The last expansion we had was Halo Reach. And then I guess you can say a little bit of Halo 5 because you played another team. But for the most part, it was Halo Reach where you played a completely different team. And then before that, it was ODST. Or vice versa. Anyway,
Yeah.
and I would like to see them like expand into the other stories. Like, it's a perfect opportunity if you're going to be doing 2 games. Well, I guess I forgot about Halo Wars. But if you're like, it's a perfect opportunity to expand into like some other Spartan teams, maybe do some like ODSTs, more ODST storylines. Excuse me. Going back and revisiting some of the early days of the Covenant War.
Yeah.
So you can bring
There's
back
so
some of the
much
classic
potential
stuff.
for stuff to do.
Yeah. And maybe even go into some slightly different genres. People have been wanting a flood style
Horror game.
Yeah. And so it's perfect.
And that flood looks-
showing the
Not gonna
freaking
lie,
environment there.
343 have done a better job of making Flood look friggin' freaky and messed up than Bungie has.
Yeah.
And they haven't even had Flood in like a mainline game. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I know. And it's like, I know I had the like, I would love I'll throw this out there because I'm never gonna make this game. I had the idea for like a flood game that was like Alien Isolation, but going all the way back to the ancient human
yes.
Yeah.
things.
That'd be
Like
so cool.
first talking about when the flood like came about, my idea was like, oh, if it was on a space station and you're this part of this like patrol force or whatever that like got a distress call, investigates the station. You kind of go through, everyone's like dead, you hear strange sounds, and as you go through it more, you find out like, there's these like weird flood kind of creatures, and then you have to like, escape and then plunge the station into the
There's
planet or
so
something
many
like that.
side story
So
stuff they
many
could
stuff.
do, man, for
So much
sure.
Oh, yeah.
So many
I feel
things.
like we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves in terms of they can make this game and that game and this game and that game just because.
Oh yeah,
Switch.
100%.
But
Get all the theories out now. That way, when they
100%.
release it, they'd be like,
Also,
"Hey, I called it."
kind of feel like that should have been a trade I missed. I kind of feel like they can beef up 343 more and more and more. Like it can be a studio like Activision with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of employees working on multiple games, right? Especially if they do leverage their partnerships with CA and who knows who else, right? Saber, I don't flipping know, like other people.
Sorry, these guys are also the ones in charge of the show and stuff too.
So kind of.
In a way, Microsoft is.
Yeah. Like Kiki Wolfkill was head of Halo Transmedia, and then she got promoted to head of Microsoft Transmedia.
Okay.
Which I think Imagine is helping work on the Gears of War movie.
So even the
show.
books appear?
Yes,
Is
yes.
that
Always the books, the comics, all that stuff is all part of the same thing.
Okay, interesting.
The show, I imagine is, from what I know, it's a lot harder for creators to be hands-on, like original creators to be hands-on and stuff like a TV show.
Yeah.
Or movies even. There's like way too many politics. There's hundreds of people. It's you're just one voice drowned among who knows how many.
Yeah, but again, too, you look at a lot of the other TV shows that have stuck with the source material, and
or bypassed it completely.
very
like
well.
Fallout did in a way, right? Did a different story, not adapting a game
Well,
story.
luckily with Fallout, like, because each game of Fallout was a different story, it's like that, so it fit to go to have a different protagonist and not retell a story, and then just use all the established stuff in the universe. A few tweaks here and there, but nothing to the extent that the Halo universe did.
Which completely
the Halo show did. Yeah. It just makes no sense. Like, you have all this lore, you don't need to change. You didn't need to change that much of it. Like, we've talked at
we've talked
about the Halo show, so we won't open up that can of worms.
I don't think this news really affects too much in terms of the transmedia plans.
I mean, honestly, one of the best things about this news that we haven't touched on at all is just the amount of what do you call it, like attention like Halo's getting now, right?
Halo's back in the mainstream eye again for a little while.
Like we always have been saying, like the IP is big, the IP is massive. Like they sell games, they sell this, whatever the hell, and like now they're finally using that to their advantage again. Like a big announcement, fresh restart, everything.
They finally took advantage of having a giant core Halo audience in a giant crowd already there, and then they used that to show. Like, I'll tell you right now, the people here at Sunday HCS are more excited about Halo than the entire crowd at E3s or Summer Games Fest or whatever summer show there is. You know what I mean? Like, this is the crowd. It's like announcing StarCraft 2 at like a Korean StarCraft event, which is what they did, by the way, and it worked really well.
We kind of called it last podcast. We're just like, if they announce anything this year for Halo, they'll be at HCS.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they did.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting it because like they haven't before. They've barely taken advantage of this, So it kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. But yeah, Halo CE remake, Halo 3 remake, Halo who knows flipping what remake.
Halo the TV show, the video game
remake.
As put it. Yeah. I was thinking that too when we were talking about it. I was like, what if they make a Halo game that's based off the show?
The annoying part of the Halo TV show being canceled is every single person I've talked to has agreed that the last episode was pretty good and is finally getting like good.
Yeah, we finally got the Halo.
Exactly.
After two seasons, we finally got the Halo,
and then they cancel it. Like, come on! It was it's so annoying.
Surprising because a lot of work was put in, like the pieces.
It wasn't.
Stuff, right? Like,
it wasn't canceled because of its popularity. It was canceled because Paramount Studios is going through a massive shakeup.
I see.
Yeah. So they had to cut a bunch of big budget projects.
It's probably the most expensive show too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. I think that it was their most expensive show. I know even when it was
Craig, you
being
see that
made, they
Yes, on the
said
group.
like internally that it was their most expensive show that
Yeah,
Paramount
yeah,
is
makes
making.
sense. It is what it is. I don't think it's technically fully dead yet. I think it might still be being shopped around and whatnot. But I mean, I'm actually,
Yeah, it's probably being shopped around, but
yeah,
it's gonna be. I mean,
yeah.
people are saying Amazon might pick it up, but yeah,
maybe Amazon also
we're
has really
hoping.
expensive shows
People are
anyways.
hoping that Amazon
Yeah,
will.
yeah,
pick it
that,
up.
that makes that fits
Maybe
more.
after this showing this announcement.
Hey, they're showing ads again after I pay $100 bucks for a subscription.
While
They
we're
better
talking
fucking
about
pick up
Halo,
Halo.
proven also on the Xbox Era team wrote an opinion piece. One of the few guys in our team that actually writes opinion pieces. I have a lot of opinions. I never put them to paper. He wrote an opinion piece talking about how Xbox has to get it right this time. Halo has to get it right this time. I don't disagree. I really don't. But I think it's more about just getting it right. It's more about keeping it right. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people said with Halo 5, they got to get it right. With Halo
Yes.
Infinite, they said
Yeah.
they got to get it right. So they're always going to say that they got to get it right.
I still think Halo 5 would have a much better legacy if it wasn't locked to Xbox One. Like, it suffered a lot from
Yeah.
being the Xbox One game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because Halo Infinite, it released, well, it was supposed to be the launch title for the Series X, but then COVID hit. But so that's kind of why I think Halo 5 didn't really make it in. And also Halo 5 at that point was kind of getting as a older game. So
Yeah.
it was kind of dying because they abandoned it for updates. So
yes. And apparently they like it was not easy on the studio. The pace of updates for Halo 5.
yeah, from what I heard too, it was a lot of crunch.
But okay, yeah. So that is Halo moving to Unreal Engine 5. Multiple projects, new name, Halo Studios. We talked about that. Other than that, I think that's about it. Anything else you guys want to add about Halo Infinite being moving to Unreal Engine? Sorry, not Halo Infinite. Halo moving to Unreal Engine, third person, whatever the heck.
I'm hoping that next year we hear some more.
You think we see it? You think we see it at Summer Game Show next year? Anything Halo?
If they've been working on this and so I think all the reports of like them working on stuff for Halo is what we saw. I think that's all that they were able to piece together. There's probably some other stuff too that people worked on, but like I think for most part what we saw is what they have been working on for the past year. So I think if they are going to do something at Summer Game Fest, it's going to be just a quick little teaser, like Chief walking out onto the edge of a cliff overlooking the valley, kind of
like that.
Yeah. It's like or just some kind of splash screen. They love their splash screens and stuff too. So I think that's what we'll get, just so that we know, like, hey, something's happening, like this is what we're working on.
Speaking of, I feel like if they wanted to, they could have released this trailer or like a smaller version of it in June or July. And they kind of gave it the more time it needed and then did it on October. I appreciate that,
Yeah, my guess is things if the studio still runs how I remember it, things they probably were almost scrambling to get this stuff
wouldn't surprise
done.
me. Technically, I guess I'll touch on this. Rebs Gaming, he's on Twitter. He's a Halo Twitter content creator, and he's dived into YouTube videos recently. He gets a lot of random sources here and there. He mentioned that some of his sources recently said that they were working on a Halo Infinite sequel in 2022 or in 2021, right after, and that ended up being canceled internally, and then obviously the campaign team fired. I'm gonna take all of that with a heavy grain of salt, right? Because that kind of feels to me like they're pre-production on the next game, which is very much the thing. Obviously, the game ends, you're working on the next thing. That doesn't necessarily mean, oh, we were 2 years into development of Halo Infinite 2,
Yeah, I think if I feel like there's a little bit of truth to that, just because I mean I know that they wanted to try
Yeah.
to have expansions and stuff come out for Halo Infinite. Like that was the plan. And I think kind of around the year 2 mark is when a bunch of the leadership shakeups started happening. And so like the layoffs and everything like that. So I think they might have just actually decided like, hey, we're thinking of kind of maybe going this other route. Like let's just bench this. We gotta shuffle around some resources and kind of figure out what we want to be as a studio.
Yeah.
And I think so I hope that they do. I don't know if they will release another like campaign thing for Halo Infinite at this point.
Oh yeah, no. And technically the rumor is they're working on like the next game. Like
yeah. That makes sense. I mean, unfortunately, they kind of shot themselves in the foot with the name like Halo Infinite.
Yes.
I think
like it should have been like Halo the Banished or something. You know what I mean? Like
or Zeta Zeta Halo.
Yeah, that would have been a sick name, just Zeta Halo. That'd been super cool.
I think I proposed that name when we were
really?
So when the names and stuff came out, at least for Infinite, we were allowed to no, not allowed, but like we were given the opportunity to propose names for the game. And I proposed I think like Zeta Halo or like something like that, or Omega, something like, because that the name of the ring and everything like that. So like I was like, makes sense. Like Omega Halo, whatever the thing was. I feel like
it is.
Anyways,
it's that Halo,
yeah. And so when they said Infinite, I was like, and then the 10-year plan and everything, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But I was like, even in my head at the time, I was like, but what if we make stuff afterwards? Like, is it just going to be constant updates to Halo
Infinity
Infinite?
and
like,
1?
Yeah, I'm like, it's like, I don't know.
A bit of a bold name, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I think mentioned UE5 demos that people have been doing have already looked really good. And yeah, this is one by someone named Evan Guzman. It looks pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. Like, and this is just like one-man teams importing assets in and like.
Ooh. Well, there is I think Installation 00 or something like that is a fan-made Halo game that is set in, or that uses Unreal Engine 5, because they have like a Forge mode and everything like that. So it's like, and it looked pretty good. Some stuff was a little bit off.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it looked pretty good for a Unreal Engine 5 thing.
Like a one-person thing. I do want to say,
what is this called again?
This is just Unreal Engine 5, Halo and Unreal. It's released 2 days ago. I'm guessing he's working on it.
Okay.
But like,
I thought it was dropping balls.
Some of the Project Foundry shots or screens looked a little soft, and I could see some of the comparisons that look like AI almost in a way. Whatever we see there isn't final. It's very work in progress, and it's very much, I think, trying to find a tone or a style that matches. Like, I have no doubt that when the final game releases, we're not gonna get like those weird shots of Chief looking kind of floaty. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they and they'll probably go through the different art passes and stuff too to really refine it. Once they figure out, like, okay, this is the kind of game we want to go for, and this is the mood. Yeah, like obviously, like, that the Halo 1 Pacific Northwest shots, they're like, we're not going to put those into a horror game, so they're going to make things look a bit darker and grittier.
Oh man, I wonder how Night would look. Would probably look super cool. Yeah, I mean, Unreal Engine 5 is not a silver bullet. That being said, it will look amazing. And I guess one thing I actually haven't said today, even though I said it immediately when I was recording the video, is we know to look good. It's Unreal Engine 5, 343 don't make bad looking games.
Yeah.
It needs to just play good, right? And that's where I was at when I said that Pierre made kind of this calculated risk, where it's like risk and reward. The risk is, there's a very real risk that it doesn't play as good as the previous Halo games, or it doesn't feel like Halo. Like you said, they attempted it with Halo 4 and they couldn't, get that going.
Unreal 4. Yeah.
Unreal 4, sorry, my bad. But with like the full team behind it, with Unreal Engine 5, with Coalition helping them, I think they can pull it
Supposedly.
off.
But yeah, and like even I think what Pierre said too is like they spent a lot of time, and the reason why they made the Foundry was to make sure that it felt right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they wanted to test out everything in there to like make sure that the feel of Halo was there. Which, you know, is exactly what they did with Unreal Engine 4, and it didn't work out. And now if they feel like it's fine, it's good with Unreal Engine 5, you know, I'm hoping that it is actually like, you know, I hope it feels like Halo, because I know that, and to me, some of the things in Halo Infinite don't feel like Halo.
Yeah.
Like, so they missed the mark on a few of the things, and that like I was pretty sad about. But you know, hopefully with Unreal 5 but I'm hoping it does well. Like,
yes,
obviously,
agreed.
you know,
Agreed.
big fans of Halo. Like, we obviously want to see it do well.
Yeah.
If not, we won't have a podcast. So, you know.
Yes, exactly. So reading a little bit more in the Xbox Wire news post, and I actually think we might not see anything next year. Because they kind of say we should
would be
talk about
early.
things when we have things to talk about at skill. Today's the first step. We're showing Foundry because it feels right to do so. And next up, we talk about the games, but then they also say we're at the beginning of this new chapter, not the final stages. It's fair to say that a new Halo game isn't imminent. And they say Halo Infinite can be supported through System Engine, more operations, and updates to Forge. So that's going to keep going. And year 4 of HCS, which is a little surprising. And hopefully they do an event kind of close to us in the Midwest, you know, and we could just drive down. If there's one in Toronto, by the way,
That'd be nice.
100% you should come up and we'll carpool and we'll drive down.
Okay,
drive
yeah,
up to Toronto.
I'll do that. Yeah, because I'm not too far and I have my passport now. So
Perfect.
Nice. Yeah, Toronto would be hype.
Toronto would be super hype, even though the city's a pain in the butt. But
We know it so well though. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Toronto would be really hype. Okay, let's move on to the last segment of the podcast, which are the community questions. Which for now, for anyone listening, we're answering basically every question asked to us through Discord, through the thread I make for the episode. I feel like that's kind of a clean, simple way to ask questions. It's as simple as typing in a Discord message for us.
Yeah. Or if you're already here, like in the chat.
Yeah, that's true.
then
Feel
log
free.
in
Feel
too.
free to send
Like,
questions in chat.
yeah, you don't have to leave. You just put it in the chat.
But okay, all right. Technically, I think I had one question outside of it too. But here, it is. I think it might be just Proven's question, where he says, "Should Halo Studios treat this rebrand as a way to soft reboot the franchise? I'm of the opinion that they should try and remake the original Halo trilogy or make multiple spin-offs before continuing the current story post-Infinite. Halo Studios is a new dev for all intents and purposes, so maybe they should carve their own path embedded in the roots of Halo and not follow 343 down the path they were taking. It would suck to lose out the trajectory post-Infinite. I'd love to see where else the franchise could go post-343. TLDR, should they abandon 343's plans and just kind of do their own thing, reboot stuff, and do all that stuff before continuing the story? I'll let you guys go first.
I gave that some thought when I first heard that they're kind of doing this new chapter. And it kind of reminded me of, like, I think last podcast or the podcast before, we talked about how Steve Downs is getting older.
Yes,
you know, the voice of Halo. Like, eventually he, you know, if the game goes, or if the series goes on long enough, he won't be around. So I think that if they're smart with them working on both games, they'll work on finishing up the Halo Infinite story and the Cortana and Master Chief story. They'll finish that off, give it a really good send-off, and then at the same time be starting up another team and maybe another hero.
Yeah, that'd be really
starting
interesting.
to expand another story. That way, when they have to put Master Chief and stuff, let him retire, kick back, on a beach with Cortana and just like sipping Mai Tais, like, then, a new hero can kind of take the place. or they're gonna have to find someone who sounds exactly like him. I mean, it's gonna be hard to
Yeah, it's gonna
replace
be way too hard.
the voice of Chief.
Yeah, I mean it's
but-
doable. My recent example is Transformers, the new movie. Chris Hemsworth was doing the voice of Prime, and by the end of the movie, he straight up sounded like Peter Cullen. Either way, the original voice of Optimus. So it's doable. It's not like it's not doable.
Yes. Yeah, and there's definitely people out there that would be able to, I think, pull it off well. But at the same time, and I know Steve Downs, Steve Downs, loves voice and Master Chief. He loves the community, so he will probably do it until he physically can't anymore.
Yeah, honestly.
So
Yeah, that's
like I don't think he's gonna retire or go anywhere. Like he's gonna do it for as long as he can, because he loves it. But I think it would still be good to have like another Spartan team kickoff.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
hell,
I don't disagree.
I would love to see Buck, because Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Nathan Fillion, and Buck and everything that he and all that. Like I would love now that he's a Spartan to see
Like a
him
full story
kind of
from-
like
Agreed.
full
Agreed.
story, and like him be the next I wouldn't say the next Master Chief, but like
The next
definitely
protagonist.
protagonist.
Yeah.
There you go.
Really quick.
Like I would love that.
Gameplay I'm showing. So in the Night of Undead, you can upgrade your gun, and when it does, it adds another gun's effect to it. So like right now, that pistol is actually the shock rifle shooting out of the pistol, and my bandit is the shotgun shooting out of the bandit. Which let me move forward a little bit so you can see it. It's honestly a lot of fun. It's like it's 100% play this mode. But yeah, I fully agree. I think they should. In terms of Proven's question, I disagree almost completely. Whatever they do, I don't want the next game to be delayed more than like 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
the story to continue. We've rebooted the story 3 times.
Yeah.
No more. No more reboots.
I mean, to be honest, like, I don't think they should either, but I definitely could see them doing
Why?
that with a new chapter and
Halo
stuff.
Infinite, where it lands, is a pretty
Yeah,
fresh
but that
start.
whole like verbiage that he used with like it's a new chapter and whatnot.
But that's about how they make the games, not the games themselves. You know what I mean?
okay.
That's more about the process behind
That
it.
is true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like Halo
Yeah.
Infinite,
No.
when you beat the game, it sets up a new beginning. Really, it does. Like a new cast of characters, a new area to fight, a new enemy which we've seen but haven't faced in the mainline game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So kind of like the whole like the new chapter of Halo kind of started with Halo Infinite, and then it just took a few more pages to get it to
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 5 and
Yeah.
the studio shake up. So like, because with Halo Infinite, they wanted that to be a spiritual reboot, as in the words of Chris Lee, who used to be the head of not the head of the studio, but one of the
yes.
drawing the blank. And so it was always meant to be kind of like a start over, and even just a reboot for the studio at the time, because when Halo Infinite was being made as well, the studio's culture changed a whole lot. From when I worked there, I was like, oh, this place is great, and people who were there were like, oh yeah, like you weren't here through like Halo 5 and stuff like that. Like
I remember
it was different.
They said stuff like Priority Zero was obviously not like killing our workers constantly, right?
Yeah,
was what they said. I'm sure there's some crunch. Obviously, there's crunch, but it feels like
Yeah,
it's a
there
fair bit
always
less
crunch.
than 5, which had horror stories behind it.
yeah, and so I think like the Halo chapters, the next Halo chapter started with Halo Infinite, and I really hope that they do continue on, and don't like reboot it again, because it would just be. I think if they were to reboot it, because they talked about how they wanted to like get back in touch with the fans and stuff like that. They mentioned the fans a few times in Pierre's thing, is like if they were to do a full reboot, and because they did talk about diehard fans. Diehard fans, I don't think want a full reboot. They
don't want Steve Downs gone. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, it's like, well, then again, too, not that they want Steve down, but they might want like them to remake Halo 1 through 3 because diehard Halo fans, a lot of them think those were
There's
like
a
the golden
series
age.
out there that is doing literally exactly remaking older games while still making new games at a reasonable pace, which is Resident Evil, right? If they want to
Mhm.
take that path, sure, I have no problems with that. Just
Yeah.
don't be like, okay, we're gonna remake 1, 2, and 3 first, and then we'll start making new games. No.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
no one's waiting 10 years for the sequel for Halo Infinite. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that would be a bad move. But yeah, if they wanted to do Halo, what I think is they're gonna work on a sequel to Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
And then alongside that, work on a completely new game.
Yes. I fully agree. I mean, heck, we talked about it in terms of them releasing like smaller project, bigger project before, right? 2014, 2015, 2011, 2012. So maybe we do see, 26 CE, 27 new game. That'd be awesome. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Which is 6 years after Infinite, decent development time. I don't know. We'll see. I do hope someone sits down and asks them about Forge, because I think that's like the big unknown. Like, hey, will Forge transfer 1-to-1? Do you have the entire Forge team working on that right now? Like,
well, I think with Unreal Engine, Forge should be
like doable, right?
It should be doable. I have seen people remake Forge in Halo or in Unreal Engine 5, so like it is definitely doable.
Yeah.
I think that they will transfer it over. They're never gonna, I don't want to say never, but they probably won't ever get rid of Forge just because
It's
they
integral.
know that, it's like a thing that keeps the community going.
So this is me about to get overrun in this mode. It gets really intense at one point, even with my shotgun. See, I'm running out of ammo, which is the problem. I gotta get more ammo, but like there's things everywhere, and boom, I'm out. And Esham's there chilling, looking at me. I'm like, no.
All right, I gotta head out, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
sorry.
basically done, Areeb. If you want,
Okay.
like 2 minutes, we're finished. Sorry, I was just looking at the thing.
Yep.
Fully agreed. There's a question in chat. If I go to Collingwood, what do you think happens to Halo Infinite space after UE5 becomes the main engine? I mean, it'll stop. I'm pretty sure everyone expects Halo Infinite to stop being supported at one point, right? It's a video game.
Eventually it will be. They'll sunset the engine and the updates. They'll stop it like they did with Halo 5 and games before. It's like they'll keep it going for so long, but then put away. Now I don't think what I would like to see them do as well, to add more to their plate, is to add Halo 5
to
MCC.
Yeah, I agree.
And then keep Halo Infinite separate. It'd be nice to see Halo Infinite like go into the MCC thing too, but put Halo 5 in there. That wraps that all up nice and into a bow.
Yep.
Continue Halo Infinite for a bit, and then when it comes time, just sunset
How
it.
cool would it be is if we get a Fable 25, a Gears 26, and a Halo 27? That'd be so cool. Halo, Gears, Fable, we back, baby.
Okay, that would be pretty cool.
I think that's it. Thank you everyone for watching. We're trying to get a few guests on in the show. I reached out to Rock, who's very active on Twitter, Spartan Lock fan account, very active on Twitter with Halo. I interact with him so much on Twitter. I'm like, dude, I should have asked you to be on the show a while back. I actually did ask Tashi. Finally, I mustered up the courage, and I walked up to him like, hey Tashi, I do a Halo podcast. 100th episode soon. Do you wanna join? And he's like, sure. I mean, maybe send me a link. I'll check it out. I'm like, okay. And I run, and Unicheck was right there next to him. I didn't even say hi. I didn't even like say hello. You know what's interesting? I met Phil Spencer for like 10 seconds. He was at the event. I saw him. I'm like, hey, congratulations. Shook his hand. He's like, nice shirt. Because I was wearing the You Had Me at Halo shirt.
Nice.
It's like a fun thing. But yeah,
cool.
We're trying to get more guests on. If anyone listening, if you guys have any guest requests you want me to check out, it doesn't need to even be a Halo centric guy, even just like Xbox people that have played Halo in the past. It's always fun getting like take on it.
They usually have some kind of experience with Halo. It would help.
Definitely want to keep the pod going. Right now, I think bi-weekly still works, but when Halo news starts piling up, we might want to switch over to weekly.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if we start getting a lot of stuff. I don't think we'll have anything big for a little while because they
Yep.
just dropped a bunch
Agreed.
of shit now.
Agreed.
So
That being said,
but yeah,
I definitely want to
piracy.
play more Halo. Yeah, dude, yesterday I played it nonstop for like 3 hours, man. I got really into it again. Get the game, sir. If anyone's watching and plays ranked and wants to keep hitting all your shots, the game, sir. GAMESAR. That thing just, it's magic. Alright. Yeah, Halo YouTuber for sure, but you always got to be careful because I mean, like, I don't want someone like two-faced. You know what I mean? I want someone who can be genuine with their opinion and not feel forced to either be positive or forced to be negative. Like,
Yeah, because there's definitely some, influencers
Yeah.
and stuff that we're just like, maybe let's not get
we're
them on.
definitely gonna have Shot back on for sure at some point. It's the last Shot. Kind of get more of an inside view of the pro scene behind the game. Anyone interested in that and how esports in general, that should be a really interesting episode. Should be in the coming weeks. I want to say I have to talk to him. But
we might be able to get we might be able to get people like Podtacular, the folks over there because
Yeah,
they do a
yeah.
Halo podcast too. I think we've talked before about swapping and doing cross promotion. So
yes. Okay.
might
And
might bring that up again to them.
I'd love to get one of the ForgeFalcon guys on because then like you can actually like talk Forge with them. And I can sit and just watch for a bit.
I'll have to see who's on there because I might know some people on
Yeah.
the team. I forget who's all on there and stuff. I know Duquesne. He's a voice in the community that
Okay.
people
Yeah.
know. He's a forger and stuff and does streaming and
Yeah,
stuff
that'd
like
be
that.
that'd be awesome. And
Not-
maybe talk to them
yeah.
about like what they think of UE5 and if they've checked out forging in Fortnite or anything like that. 'Cause I'm sure that would be kind of similar. But okay, that's
Yeah.
also for future stuff. Thank you everyone for watching. Areeb, I'll finally let you go, man. You definitely felt
Alright.
super tired.
Good night, guys. Yeah. Have a good night, everyone.
All right, thanks for
See
watching,
you,
everyone.
everyone.
You
Thank
guys
you
have
for
a good one.
Bye.